Good morning, this is Papa G, and welcome to Papa Can Cook. This morning, we're going to make one of our favorite breakfasts. It's very tasty, highly nutritious, and you'll love it. Pretty easy to make. The ingredients include a sweet potato, small sweet potato. I've scrubbed it already. Some peppers. I'm using these small peppers, different colors, just to make it interesting. You could use a regular bell pepper, you could use a cubanella, green frying pepper, whatever you like. I'm going to be using a shallot. You don't have to use shallot. Shallot has a delicate flavor. You could use a small onion instead. We're going to be putting a couple of slices of bacon that we'll cut up, so it'll be like kind of bacon bits. This here Black Label, it's a Hormel. It's a thick cut, which is very nice with this. It's better with a thick cut. And it is also gluten-free. So this is the bacon that I typically use. You can use any kind of bacon that you want. If you want it to be gluten-free, just make sure you read the labels. Obviously, we're going to use eggs, because it's sweet potato hash with eggs. We're going to be using salt and pepper on it. And we're going to add turmeric and paprika. And one other thing, and mushrooms. I've already brushed these mushrooms clean, so we're going to use a few of these. We're going to use, you could use the light olive oil to cook this in. I like to use the extra virgin coconut oil. It's also very healthy, gluten-free, and it adds kind of a nice flavor to it, a very hint of coconut. It's good for breakfast. I wouldn't use this in some of the other dishes. So that's our ingredients, and we'll get started. So the first thing we're going to do is get the vegetables ready. We'll cut them up, and then we'll start frying. So I'm going to start with the sweet potato. I'm going to cut the tips off of the sweet potato, and then I'm going to cut the sweet potato lengthwise, and then I'm going to cut it in about 1/4 inch slices, again lengthwise. You want to be able to make sure that the pieces are small enough so that they will cook quickly when you go to fry them. And then I take them and kind of cut them again in about 1/4 inch pieces. Okay, that's that. All right, that's the sweet potatoes. The peppers, I'm going to just cut the ends off, cut them lengthwise, and then slice them up. Then I'll do the rest of the peppers. Shallot, pretty much the same thing. Cut the ends off. Peel the shallot. All right, and I'm going to cut them into thin slices. And then, of course, the mushrooms. Basically, you're going to cut the mushroom in half. And then again. Okay, so I'll finish cutting up these vegetables, and then we'll go from here. Okay, the vegetables are all cut up. I have taken 2 of the slices of bacon. I put them, fried them up. Don't overcook them because they're going to cook. I took them out to drain, but I'm going to put them back in with the vegetables. I'm going to put about a tablespoon of coconut, extra virgin coconut oil in the pan. Let that heat up. And I'm going to start out with the sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes take the longest to cook, so I've separated them from the other vegetables. So I'm going to let these saute for a little while. Just toss them around so that they're coated. And heat right. I'm going to cover them, and I'm going to let them cook for a couple of minutes until they start to soften. You don't want to completely cook them, because the next step is to put the onions and the peppers, which you can put in together, because they take about the same amount of time to cook, followed by the mushrooms, and then we'll toss the bacon in amongst all that. All right, so I'm going to let this cook for a couple of minutes, and I'll be back. All right, the sweet potatoes have been in here for a few minutes. I've stirred them a couple of times. They're starting to brown nicely, which is perfect. It's just what we want. They're not fully cooked, but now I'm going to add the peppers and the shallots. You could use onions again if you want. I'm going to add those in. Stir them in. Okay, they're going to need to cook. You got to wait. Fry them, toss them around, and fry them until they start to soften. So we're going to do that, and then when those are ready, I'll be back and we'll put the mushrooms and the bacon in at the end. All right, we've gone another 3 or 4 minutes with the shallots and the peppers, and they're starting to soften, which is perfect. Again, you don't want to thoroughly cook them because we got one more step. Now we're going to add the mushrooms. Now, if you notice, I have not put any salt in the recipe at this point, and I'm going to wait. I'm going to add the bacon that I had sitting out draining on the paper towel. I'll put that in also. One thing you do not want to do with mushrooms is add salt before you've had a chance to cook or brown them. What happens with mushrooms when you add salt to them when they're cooking is they release their liquid, their water, and then what happens is the mushrooms, or whatever they're in with, just steam rather than actually frying or browning. The best way to cook mushrooms, if you're going to cook mushrooms by themselves, you could dry fry them. Don't put any oil in. Just put them in a pan, a non-stick pan or a cast iron pan, and let them brown. Maybe just a little bit of oil, but never add salt until after they're cooked the way you want them to. Okay, so I'm going to let this cook for another couple of minutes, and then we'll go on to the next step. All right, we've gone a couple more minutes on this. The mushrooms have cooked nicely. Everything has come together. It smells awesome. All right, I'm going to add the spices now. So we're going to put about a teaspoon. I don't usually measure it out, but for the sake of the recipe, we'll figure about a teaspoon of turmeric. Sprinkle it around. A teaspoon of paprika. I'm going to add something. You don't have to add this, but I'm going to put a couple of shakes of cayenne pepper. Not too much because you don't want to make it too spicy so it's unpalatable. Then we're going to put salt. Now we can put our salt in. All right. Mix this up. I'm going to add a little black pepper also. All right, so the hash is cooked. Now what we have to do is add the eggs. So I'm going to spread this out on the pan. Now this I'm cooking for 2. If you want to make for more, obviously just to increase the ingredients of the hash. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make kind of a little pocket here and a pocket there, because we're going to crack the eggs and put them there. I don't want them floating around. Okay, there's one egg. There's the second egg. I'm going to cover it again. And I'm going to put a little bit of salt and pepper on the egg itself. Okay. Now this is going to take, it depends on how you like your eggs. If you like them over easy, it's only going to take a few minutes. If you want them to be cooked a little harder, then just wait until you see it, the egg looks the way you want it, and then we'll be ready to serve it. So this will be in here for a few minutes, and then I'm going to show you what the finished product looks like. Well, we are done. As you can see, it looks fantastic. I'm going to plate it now. By the way, if you want to make it even healthier, it's already got all kinds of vitamins in it. You could add a bed of some kind of a dark green, arugula, maybe spinach, maybe chopped kale. I have some nice arugula, so that's what I'm putting on it, and I'm going to take out some of the hash with the egg, put that right in the center, grab some more of the vegetables to go around it. A beautiful dish and a very delicious breakfast. Enjoy.